There are moments in every life when the world feels stubbornly unmovable, when circumstances seem fixed, when people appear unwilling to understand us, and when challenges stretch on as if they have no end. When you change, everything changes gently dismantles this illusion by guiding the reader toward a profound truth. The world outside is often a mirror of the world inside. Our relationships, opportunities, confidence, and direction are shaped not simply by what happens around us, but by how we see, interpret, and respond to those experiences. The book becomes an inner journey toward understanding that transformation does not begin in the world, it begins in the self. The heart of the book lies in showing that personal change is not an overnight miracle, it is an unfolding. It begins quietly, sometimes with discomfort, sometimes with confusion, sometimes with a whisper that something in life must shift. The author takes the reader into this deeply human process, revealing how inner shifts gradually reshape outer circumstances, almost as if reality itself begins rearranging to reflect the person we are becoming. This message is illustrated through psychological insight, real-life examples, and moments of introspection that feel like gentle conversations with a wise mentor. One of the core ideas explored is the power of self-awareness, the ability to honestly look at your patterns, beliefs, and reactions. Many people believe change begins with altering habits or forcing new routines, but the book argues that meaningful growth starts far deeper. It begins with understanding why we think the way we do, why we hold on to certain fears, and why we repeat unhelpful cycles. The author explains how childhood experiences, cultural expectations, and old emotional wounds shape the stories we tell ourselves. For example, a person who grew up feeling unseen may enter adulthood believing they are not worthy of attention or love. Without realizing it, they may choose relationships where they are not valued or jobs where their voice is ignored. The world then appears unkind, but what is actually happening is that the inner belief is being projected outward. When such a person changes their inner story, when they begin to see themselves as worthy, their outer world starts shifting, new connections, new opportunities, and new confidence emerge. The book emphasizes this repeatedly: your inner narrative is the blueprint of your outer life. Changing the blueprint changes everything built upon it. Another key message explores the role of emotional responsibility. We often think our reactions are caused by others. He made me angry, she made me insecure, life made me tired, but the author reframes this gently. Emotional responsibility does not mean blaming yourself for everything that happens, it means recognizing your power in how you respond. If anger, jealousy, fear, or discouragement arise, the book encourages the reader not to suppress these emotions but to explore them. What is the emotion trying to teach you? What fear or desire lies behind it? What belief is being challenged? For example, if someone feels jealous when a friend succeeds, the book suggests looking beneath the jealousy. Perhaps it is not about the friend at all. Perhaps it is a sign that the person feels stuck, unseen, or afraid that success is limited. By exploring the emotion rather than being controlled by it, a person learns to transform it. They may realize that their jealousy is actually pointing toward their own forgotten dreams. Through this awareness, jealousy becomes clarity, and clarity becomes motivation. When the inner emotional landscape changes, the outer relationships change, too, envy dissolves, and support emerges naturally. Central to the book is also the transformative power of perspective. When we change how we see a situation, the situation itself may not change, but our experience of it does, and that can shift everything. The author uses the example of two people facing the same hardship, such as losing a job. One person sees it as a rejection, a failure, a confirmation of their fears. The other sees it as a doorway, an invitation to reassess their direction, rediscover their strengths, and find something better aligned with their purpose. The circumstance is the same, the meaning is different. And meaning shapes destiny. When you alter your perspective, you alter your future paths. The book also highlights how small internal shifts can lead to surprisingly big external results. Changing your self-talk can improve courage. Clarifying your values can guide decisions. Healing old wounds can open you to deeper relationships. Cultivating self-respect can end toxic cycles. Practicing gratitude can reveal opportunities previously unnoticed. The author sets out many real-life stories of people who made tiny internal changes, such as committing to honest communication, practicing daily stillness, or choosing not to react with anger, and watched their entire environment slowly transform. The message is consistent: external change follows internal alignment. A particularly moving chapter explores the theme of letting go, the emotional process of releasing what no longer serves your growth. The book acknowledges that letting go can feel painful, especially when it involves people, habits, or identities that once felt like home. But growth requires space, transformation requires shedding. Letting go does not mean abandoning or forgetting, it means releasing resistance, releasing expectations, and releasing attachments that keep you stuck in old versions of yourself. When you release what is holding you back, you create room for better things to enter. The author uses a metaphor of a garden. If old, withered plants are not removed, new ones cannot thrive. Likewise, if old beliefs, grudges, fears, or self-doubts remain rooted in the heart, new possibilities cannot take shape. When you change your emotional soil, when you clear the weeds, you change what can grow in your life. Another profound insight from the book focuses on identity, the idea that many people cling to labels and stories about who they think they are. I'm naturally shy, I'm unlucky, I'm not creative, I always get hurt, I never succeed. These identities become cages, limiting the growth that is possible. The author gently invites readers to loosen their attachment to these fixed stories, reminding them that identity is fluid, not fixed. You are not who you were 5 years ago, and you do not need to be the same person 5 years into the future. When you allow yourself to evolve beyond your old identity, life begins offering opportunities that match your new one. The book also emphasizes the importance of self-compassion, the emotional foundation of lasting transformation. Change does not happen by harshness, shame, or self-punishment. It happens through understanding, patience, and kindness toward oneself. When you treat yourself with compassion, you create the emotional safety needed to grow. You begin seeing mistakes not as failures but as feedback. You begin seeing challenges not as obstacles but as teachers. And you begin realizing that progress is made not through perfection but through consistency. One of the most beautiful themes in the book is the ripple effect of personal change. When one person becomes calmer, kinder, more confident, or more self-aware, it influences everyone around them. Relationships soften. Communication becomes clearer. Conflicts resolve more quickly. Expectations become healthier. When one person in a family, workplace, or friendship circle changes their inner approach, the dynamic itself begins shifting. Change does not require others to transform with you, it requires you to transform yourself, and the environment responds naturally. The book ends with a powerful reminder that transformation is not a destination, it is an ongoing journey. Growth is a lifelong path, full of cycles of expansion, contraction, reflection, and renewal. You will change, the world around you will change, and new chapters will continuously unfold. The key is to remain open, aware, and aligned, to meet each moment with presence and intention. When you change your thoughts, your interpretation shifts. When you change your beliefs, your choices shift. When you change your emotional patterns, your relationships shift. And when you change your inner world, your outer world gradually begins to align with the person you are becoming. Ultimately, when you change, everything changes is both a philosophy and an invitation, a call to recognize the quiet power you carry within yourself. Life does not fully transform when circumstances bend to your will. It transforms when your inner world harmonizes with your true values, purpose, and authenticity. You become not a passive observer of life, but a co-creator of it. You discover that you do not need to wait for the world to change, you simply need to change the way you meet the world. And when you do, everything around you begins shifting in ways that feel almost miraculous.